Hello friend, in this video we are going to discuss .NET 8 Web API CRUD operation. Let's begin. What is a API? API stands for a Application Programming Interface. It defines the rules that you must follow to communicate with other software system. Developer expose the API so other application can communicate with their applications programmatically. For example, the timesheet application expose an API that asks for a employee's full name and a range of date. When it receives this information, it's internally process the employee timesheet and return the number of hours worked in that date range. What is the RESTful API? RESTful API is an interface that two computer systems use to exchange information securely over the internet. Most business applications have to communicate with other internal and third-party applications to perform a various tasks. For example, to generate a monthly payslip, your internal account system has to share data with your customer banking system. To automate invoicing and data communicate with an internal timesheet application. RESTful API support this information exchange because they follow secure, reliable and efficient software communication standards. Let's discuss what are the benefits of RESTful API? First benefit is scalability. System that implemented the REST API can scale efficiently because REST optimizes client-server interaction. Statelessness remove a server load because the server does not have to retain post-client request information. It's a well-managed caching partially or completely eliminate some client-server interaction. All these features support scalability. Second benefit is flexibility. RESTful web services support total client-server separation. They simplify and decoupled various server components so that each part can run independently. Platform or technology change at the server application do not affect the client application. So it's providing a flexibility also. Third benefit is independence. REST API are independent of technology used. You can write both client and server application in a various programming language without affecting the API design. Anytime you can also change the underlying technology without affecting the communication. So independence also is a feature of Web API. You can develop your Web API in any platform, maybe in Python, .NET, Java and Node.js also. What is the CRUD operation in a Web API? Let's discuss. CRUD stands for create, read, update and delete. So C stands for create. In a API, we have a post HTTP verb. It's being used to add any new entry. R stands for read. We have a get HTTP verb also to get a data. U stands for update. We have a put. It's being used when you updating a record in a web API. D stands for delete. If you want to delete, then use a delete HTTP verb. Now let's open a Visual Studio and create a CRUD operation in a .NET 8. .NET 8 support in Visual Studio 2022. If you don't have a Visual Studio 2022, just go to Google and download it and install it. So open a Visual Studio and then create a new project. Search Web API. Select this template ASP.NET Core Web API, a project template or creating a RESTful Web API using a ASP.NET Core controller or minimum API. So using this template, you can create a controller based Web API as well as minimal API. In this video, we are going to discuss a controller based API. Minimal API will discuss in a further video. In a project name section, just provide your application name. For me, it's a .NET 8 Web API. Select your project location and check this checkbox and click Next. Here you can select your framework. I am going with the .NET 8. In a authentication type, select none. Check configure checkbox. Just select this. Enable web API support. Select this also. It will provide a pre-configured Swagger. Select a use controller checkbox also and then click on create. Then click on create button. Now my .NET 8 web API project is ready. So by default, Visual Studio providing one controller, weather forecast controller. We can delete and create a new controller. So here in a program, if you check a program.cs file, this web API application running in a console environment. So here we have a web applications create builder method. It responsible to make this console application in a web API. Create builder method. This method responsible to create a web applications. So it have some service also. So here we are adding in future when I'm creating a service, will register our service in this sections. Builder.service. Swagger is already implemented in this application. You can see here. Use HTTPS redirection. This is a middleware. This middleware being used to redirect a HTTP to HTTPS URL. If someone hitting a HTTP URL, it will automatically redirect to HTTP to HTTPS. Use authorization middleware. It's securing your routes to unauthorized user. We'll discuss in future video. Let's delete a predefined controller and after that we'll add a new controller from scratch. So now controller has been deleted. Go to solution and add some folder. Model folder, serve and service folder. Go to solution explorer. If it's not visible, go to view and select a solution explorer. Right click on solution explorer and click on add button. Add new folder. So add a model folder here. So I am going to create our hero API. So let's add a model for this. Select this model folder and in a keyboard press Ctrl+Shift+A to add a class. Change a name, file name to our model name. So our hero and click on add. Let's define some property. Let's define some property in our model. So I am using a shortcut. So just write a prop and press enter. So it will create a property. So change a data type and name accordingly. So for I am going to create a ID field first. So this is a ID property. If you want to initialize a value, so then you can initialize. So now my model is ready. Our hero model is ready. It have ID property, first name, last name and is active. Is required for all heroes. So that's why I am using a required field here. So it will force you to provide a value while creating a object. Save this file. Let's add one more model to accept our hero data. Select a model, press Ctrl+Shift+A and provide your file name. So for me, I'm going to create a add update. Add update our heroes model. Click on add. This model have only 3 property, first name, last name and active. Because ID I'm going to generate dynamically. That's why for this model ID field is not required. Let's add a service folder also. New folder, service folder. It contain our service, BAL logic, business layer logic. So let's create a, select your service folder and press Ctrl+Shift+A to create a class. So now I'm going to create a service class. So now I'm going to create a service class, our hero service. Click on add and create one interface also. Interface class, it start with I. So I is indicating this is the interface. Click on add. So now I have a interface and service also. Let's implement our interface. So our interface have these 5 methods: get all heroes, get heroes by ID, add our heroes, update our heroes, and delete our heroes. Let's implement this interface in our hero service. Just inherit this. It's showing some error because interface are not implemented in a class. That's why just hover on this class and click on this bulb and click on implement interface. Let's add a constructor here. Here I am going to hold all our heroes data in memory inside a service. In future we'll integrate a entity framework and store all heroes information in a database. But as of now I am going to hold all the data inside a service file. This is a constructor of this service class. Let's initialize our hero list here. So for this, our list hero equal to new list our hero and just initialize. Let's add one entry for testing. So here I have initialized our hero list object and added one entry. Let's implement other method also. In add our hero, we have a hero object. So based on a hero object, we need to add this object in our collection, in memory collection. So here I am going to create one more object. In this object, just I am assigning all the field, first name, last name, and is active. And because ID is the dynamically, so I am just checking in my collection what is the max ID we have. Whatever we have, just I am incrementing by 1. Let's implement a get all heroes method. So here I am getting a is active field. So if is active is equal to null, that time I am just returning all the heroes list, no matter is active or not. If I am getting some value true and false, is active, true and false, so accordingly we are sending a response. If I am getting a true, that time I am just filtering out all the record based on a is active and returning. Get hero by ID. Here we are getting hero ID, our hero ID. So based on a ID, I am just searching this ID in my collections. If I got something, that in this case will return a hero object, otherwise it will return a null value. So in a update our user hero, so here we have one ID and user data, first name, last name, and active field. In a update our user, because we are working in memory collections, so that's why we need an index of this record to update. So that's why I am searching in our hero list, find index. I am just filtering out based on our ID. If I got something, means it index greater than 0. So greater than equal to 0. If index is greater than equal to 0, then I got an entry. So safely we can update an entry and save it. So here I just pulling out a hero object again and updating this object and again assigning this object to that index and returning a hero object. In delete hero by ID, so here based on a ID we need to delete a hero object. So again we are finding a index of our object based on a ID, and if I got means ID index is greater than equal to 0, In this case, we are going to remove that object otherwise and returning a status. Means if I got object, that time we are returning a true, otherwise false. Now our service also is ready. Let's register our service in a program.cs file. So for this, copy your service name, go to a Solution Explorer, program.cs. Here we have a builder object. So in this builder object, we can register our service. Builder.services.add singleton. So here we have three options to register our service: singleton, transient and scope. Provide your interface and your implementation. So in .NET Core, we have three methods to register our service. Register your service as a singleton, transient and scoped. Singleton, always you have a one object in a memory. Because I am registering as a singleton because we have a in-memory object in a service side. If we create an object again and again, in this case we lose our old data. That's why I am registering this service as a singleton. If you register your service as a scoped means one request, one object. If you injecting the same service twice, then it will share a object. But if you register as a transient, if you injecting your service two times in your app in same request, it will provide a separate object for both. So this is a difference between a transient and scoped. Singleton always have a single object. So now our service also registered. Let's add a controller in a controller folder. So select a controller folder, right click and click on add button. Go to click on controller to add a controller. Here actually we are working in API project. So go and select a API and API controller empty and click on add. So here you just instead of value controller, you go with our hero controller. Click on add. So now our controller is ready. Our hero controller, it's a normal class, but it's inheriting a controller base class. So it become a controller now. And here we have some decorator, API controller decorator and routes. Routes have some URL. So our API available in this endpoint. API/our hero. So our API available in this endpoint, your domain/API/our hero. Let's implement all the actions. Let's create a constructor because we need to inject our hero service. Write CTOR and press tab button. So it will create a constructor for this. Let's add one private variable. It hold our hero service object. Inside a controller, inject our hero service and assign this object to our local instance. So now hero service is available in this controller. Let's add a get method. This is our get method. So here this is a public method. It's returning a IXN result, and here we are getting some data we are receiving is active as a query string. So here we are calling our service and get all heroes method, and we are passing our input field. This service, this get all hero method, it will return all hero list based on our input. Let's return this. So for return, just return a OK and heroes. Here OK returning a hero list along with a 200 status code. Let's define one more method. get it accept id parameter. So here we are calling a hero service, and now we are pointing to get hero by id method, and based on a id we are getting a response. If hero is null means hero is not exist, we are passing this id, and object is not available means hero is not registered, we are passing some wrong id. So in this case we are returning a not found error. If you got a response means if you got a hero object, then return OK along with hero object. Let's register this method as a get. So just define a get attribute, http get attribute here, and because we have some id parameter, so just define a route how to get this id. You can register your route either using a route attribute, or in a get http get verb itself you can define your route. So here if you define route like this, so this id it's a part of your route. So in this case your API route is API slash our hero slash id. So this is the endpoint for this. Let's add the post method now. So post attribute, for post method just assign a post attribute here, http post verb here. So this method become a post method. So here we are accepting some parameters, route object. So here you can define your is how to get this object. So here you define a from body. So I am expecting this object as a body. So here whatever we are getting, again we are calling a service and add our hero method to add our register this hero in our in memory object. So in memory objects, so let's go and check this method. So here I am getting some new hero detail, and after that we are adding this hero detail in a creating a new object, our hero object. Here I am dynamically calculating a id, and once this object is ready we are just adding this object in our in memory object, and after that we are returning a same object. So if you receive a object our hero added successfully, if I am getting as this hero as a null, so means something wrong actually is not registered. So in this case we are sending bad request as a response. Let's add a put method, means update. If you want to update any hero's detail, so in this case you call a put method and provide your id and hero object informations. So id, here id we are getting id from a route. So we are expecting this id as a route URL and object as a body section in a body section. So again we are calling a update our hero method here, and if I got a hero object means hero updated successfully. If is have null value, in this case something wrong, so we are sending a not found because id is maybe user provided a wrong id, that's why we are not able to find a hero object. You can check here. So based on a id we are checking in our collection. If hero is present in our collection, so our index is greater than or equal to 0. In this case you go and update a object and return a hero. If is not available in our collection, in this case simply return a null. So here if I'm getting a null, so in this case we are just returning a not found error, because that hero whatever your user trying to access is not available in our collection. If it's available, then we are updating a user information and returning a response. So this is a delete action method. So for delete, we are expecting a ID as an input parameter. ID it's a part of our root. If you want as a query string, you can change it as a query string instead of from route. But here I am expecting as a route. That's why I mentioned like this. So again we are calling a hero service and calling a delete hero by id method. So in this method again we are finding a record, searching that id in our in memory object. If we got an object, that time we are removing, otherwise we are ignoring and returning a false result. So here if I got here I am using a not operator. So if means when we are calling this method, it return a false. So in this case we are returning response as a not found, because that id is not available. That's why we are not able to proceed your action. So if it's return a true, in this case again we are sending a OK response with some detail, message and ID. Let's run this application. So for running, just click on this run button or press F5. So here all the routes available. Let's try a get API. Just open this API and click on execute. So now because we have configured one predefined object, that's why it's returning that object. Let's add one more object using a post API. Click on post, click on tryout, and here change your provide your data. So first name is Ankit, last name Sahu. This is active user. Let's add. So when I'm executing this verb, so it's calling this action method. If you want, we can put a breakpoint here and investigate. So let's change Ankit to Aditi and click on execute. So this method is executed. This hero user registered in our collections in ID 2. We can verify by clicking on, by hitting a get request. Try this and execute this. So here we have a 2 entry and both are active. So if you filter out this entry, if you select a true and execute, it will return all the both user. But if you select a false, because we don't have any entry for this, in this case it will return a 0 element. This is an empty array. That's it in this video. In next video, we'll integrate a Unity framework in this same project.